It was an ordinary morning at the Virgin Australia office in Sydney, the kind where the sun filters in through high windows and the city hums just outside. The world moved as it always did, with the gentle rhythm of coffee machines and the low murmur of voices rising to meet another day's challenges. But sometimes, the most unexpected moments wait quietly in the wings, ready to upend routine and remind us just how human we all are. On this particular morning, the office was quieter than usual. Only a handful of employees were on site, tending to early preparations and the soft unwrapping of a new day. Among them was Hannah, a young member of the operations team. Hannah was diligent, known for her kindness, her willingness to pitch in wherever needed, and a smile that could brighten even the busiest of days. But beneath her cheerful exterior, Hannah was exhausted. She'd been covering extra shifts for a colleague whose mother was ill. She hadn't complained. It was in her nature to help. Yet the weight of responsibility pressed heavy on her shoulders, and the nights had become shorter and shorter. Meanwhile, in another part of Sydney, a different morning was unfolding. The CEO of Virgin Australia, Eliza Carter, was preparing for a surprise visit to the office. Eliza was many things: a visionary leader, a champion of her team, and someone who believed that true leadership was about understanding the people you served. She loved surprises, believing that spontaneity kept the workplace alive with possibility. That day, she chose not to announce her visit, wanting to see the office in its natural, unguarded state. As fate would have it, two stories, Hannah's and Eliza's, were about to collide in a way that would become the talk of the company, and perhaps a lesson that would echo far beyond the office walls. Hannah had arrived before dawn. She moved quietly through the corridors, her steps muffled by the hush that only exists before the world wakes up. By 7, she'd finished a mountain of paperwork, set up the conference rooms, and triple-checked the schedules. She felt the familiar tug of fatigue. The staff lounge, with its comfortable couch nestled in a quiet corner, beckoned. Just a few minutes, she told herself. Just enough to gather her strength for the long day ahead. She curled up, tucking her legs beneath her, and closed her eyes. The world faded, replaced by the gentle rhythm of dreams and the soft, steady beat of her own heartbeat. She didn't hear the elevator chime or the footsteps approaching. Eliza arrived with her signature energy, her eyes bright with anticipation. She moved through the office, greeting the early risers and soaking in the atmosphere. She loved these moments, when she could see her company in action, unfiltered and real. Eventually, her path led her to the staff lounge. There, she found Hannah, fast asleep, her features softened by rest. Eliza paused, a gentle smile touching her lips. She knew what it meant to be tired, to give more than you had. She didn't see laziness, she saw dedication, the kind that quietly holds a company together. But as she turned to leave, her foot caught on the edge of the rug, and in a split second she lost her balance. She tumbled forward, landing softly on the couch beside Hannah. The sudden movement startled Hannah awake. Disoriented, she blinked up at Eliza, her mind scrambling to make sense of the scene. For a brief, bewildering moment, the two locked eyes. Eliza, the CEO, and Hannah, still half dreaming, confused by the proximity and the strangeness of the moment. The room was silent except for the sound of their hearts, thumping in surprise.
Then laughter bubbled up, first tentative, then unstoppable. The absurdity of the situation, the randomness, the humanity of it all swept away any embarrassment.
Eliza rolled onto her back, her laughter ringing out, and Hannah joined in, tears streaming down her face. It was only then, between breaths, that Hannah realized she was clutching the soft blanket she'd draped around herself, and that Eliza, in her fall, had managed to get tangled in it too. It was just a blanket, but in the chaos, it felt as though the world had been stripped down to its barest, most honest state. Word of the incident traveled quickly. At first, it was just a whisper. Did you hear what happened in the lounge? But soon, it seemed everyone knew. Photoshopped images and playful memes popped up, echoing the playful spirit that Virgin was famous for. But beneath the laughter, something deeper stirred. Eliza, true to her nature, didn't shy away from the story. She addressed the company in a heartfelt message, her words tinged with humor and humility. "We are all human," she wrote, "and sometimes life has a way of reminding us that we're all in this together. Sometimes leadership means sharing a laugh, admitting when you've tripped, and remembering that even the most unexpected moments can bring us closer." The company responded with warmth and solidarity. People shared their own stories of exhaustion, of going the extra mile for one another. Senior staff began to talk more openly about work-life balance, and an impromptu initiative was born, the Rest and Recharge program. Employees were encouraged to take breaks, to look out for one another, to remember that caring for yourself was as important as caring for the company. Hannah, once shy and content to work behind the scenes, found herself at the heart of a movement. She became a quiet advocate for kindness and self-care. Her story, a gentle reminder that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a source of strength. Eliza, too, found herself changed by the experience. She realized that the best leaders are those who make space for imperfection, who meet embarrassment with empathy, and who understand that the true heart of a company is found in the bonds between its people. In the weeks that followed, the office felt different. Laughter echoed just a little louder. People lingered a little longer in the staff lounge, sharing stories and supporting one another. The Rest and Recharge program blossomed, transforming the culture in ways that no policy or memo ever could.
But beyond the company, the story took on a life of its own. It became a symbol, a reminder that even in the most professional of settings, we are all gloriously, unpredictably human. That sometimes it's the moments we can't plan for, the ones that strip away our defenses and leave us exposed, that reveal the very best of who we are.
For Hannah, the experience was a turning point. She learned that it's okay to ask for help, to admit when you're tired, to be seen not just as an employee, but as a whole person. She found new confidence, stepping into roles that challenged her, speaking up when she had ideas, trusting that her voice mattered. For Eliza, the lesson was equally profound. She saw, in that unexpected morning, the power of humility, the way it can transform embarrassment into connection, and connection into change. She became more intentional about listening, about creating spaces where people could be themselves, unafraid of making mistakes. And for everyone else, the story became a kind of legend, a reminder that no one is immune to the surprises of life, that the best-laid plans can be upended in an instant, and that sometimes the most meaningful moments are the ones that catch us off guard. The memes faded, as all things do, but the impact lingered. Virgin Australia became known not just for its innovation or its service, but for its heart, the way it cared for its people, the way it turned a moment of chaos into a catalyst for compassion. Years later, when new employees joined the company, they would hear the story. They would laugh, of course, at the image of their CEO tangled in a blanket, waking up beside a surprised colleague. But as the laughter faded, they would feel something else, a sense of belonging, a recognition that this was a place where people mattered, where mistakes were met with grace, and where every story, no matter how strange, had the power to unite.
In boardrooms and break rooms alike, the words of Eliza's message would echo, "We are all human, we are all in this together." And in the quiet moments, those early mornings when the world is still asleep, when exhaustion threatens to overwhelm, her words would offer comfort. A reminder that at Virgin Australia, you are never alone. That even the most surprising moments can lead to unexpected kindness. That sometimes the best way to build a company is to embrace the beautiful, unpredictable, imperfect humanity in each of us. It's a lesson that lingers, a story that tugs at the heartstrings, reminding us that leadership is not about perfection, but about presence. About being there for one another, in laughter and in vulnerability, in chaos and in calm. As the world moves on, as new challenges arise and new stories unfold, the memory of that morning in Sydney remains, a testament to the power of compassion, the strength of humility, and the simple truth that sometimes the best kind of leadership is the kind that meets embarrassment, not with judgment, but with a smile. So the next time you find yourself caught in an unexpected moment, when you stumble, when you falter, when the world strips you bare,
remember the story of Eliza and Hannah. Remember that you are not alone, that sometimes the things that shock us, that leave us exposed and vulnerable, are the very things that bring us closer together. And in those moments, may you find the courage to laugh, to forgive, to reach out a hand, to build not just a company, but a community, a place where every story, no matter how wild or unexpected, becomes a thread in the tapestry of something beautiful and enduring. For in the end, it's not the policies or the profits that define us. It's the way we care for one another, the way we turn embarrassment into empathy, mistakes into meaning, and chance encounters into the kind of stories that live on, reminding us all of what it truly means to be human. And so, the story of that morning, of a CEO and her employee, of laughter and humility, of an unexpected moment turned into a legend, continues to ripple outward. A story not just for Virgin Australia, but for all of us. A reminder that kindness matters, that vulnerability is strength, and that sometimes the most shocking moments are the ones that show us who we really are. May we all be so lucky as to find in the chaos of life the chance to wake up, not just to each new day, but to the simple, powerful truth that we belong to one another. That every story, no matter how strange, has the power to change the world, one heart at a time. And as the years go by, as the world continues to spin and new stories unfold, may the laughter and the lessons of that morning in Sydney live on, a beacon of hope, a celebration of humanity, and a reminder that sometimes the best kind of leadership is the kind that meets the unexpected, not with fear, but with open arms. In the end, what happened next didn't just shock the company, it changed it. It reminded everyone that at the heart of every business, every team, every story, are people. Flawed, beautiful, resilient, and capable of extraordinary kindness. And that, perhaps, is the greatest lesson of all.